Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Diadora Atomo Star. This is a shoe that I purchased with my own money. I want to give just my honest thoughts and review of this shoe as we move forward. So first of all, when you look at it, it's one, just a very nice looking shoe. Let's just be real. This is a looker of a shoe. Even in blue, which isn't always my favorite color, like this kind of royalish blue. Generally speaking, not my favorite color for most shoes, but this one, they just make it work. I think some of that is just that it's classic Italian design. They always put out some really nice looking shoes. So a little bit about this one in general. So this one comes in at $240. It is made in Italy. That is one of the things that is a standout of this shoe itself. The weight on it, it's a bit on the heavier side. It's 306 grams or 10.75 ounces, and that's in my US size 11. Again, a bit on the heavier side, and we're going to get into some of that as we go along. Some things about the shoe itself. One, I mean, this thing is built, I think, like a tank. I said, it's made in Italy. The folks at Diadora have a couple shoes every year that they put out that are made in Italy. So last year it was the Atomo V7000. That was their Italian-made running shoe. This year it's the Atomo Star. This one's harkening back to some of their running shoe designs from back in the mid-2000s, which is completely on trend for pretty much everyone these days. Again, the quality of it is excellent. The majority of the upper here is this nylon air mesh, as they call it. Quite breathable. Not the most breathable. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have some hot feet on warmer days. I wouldn't be surprised if people are coming back complaining about that. You have some nice overlays here with the microfiber. It just really feels nice and premium. The logo here is also an overlay, which is on there pretty nicely. Then you got this turquoise area kind of along the sides here. And I'm not sure what exactly that's made of. It is a little bit of a stiffer material. It does add, I think, a little bit more support around the heel itself, as well as there's a decent heel collar in here. Heel counter, excuse me. Overall, I think that this shoe on the upper side fits very nice, except if you have a wide foot. It is a bit snug at the front end here. I'm kind of on the wider end of a normal width foot, and for me, I do feel a little bit of snugness. I think that's going to go away with just a few more runs in it. It's something I've experienced in some of the other Diadora shoes over the years, and that's something that does get better. Lacing, it's very standard lacing. It does have a gusseted tongue. It's padded decently. It's not overly padded. Same thing with the heel itself here and just around the ankle. Decent padding, not too much of a Achilles flare on it, but I don't think you're going to have much in the way of any irritation of it. I think it's a very nice material that is going to hold up pretty well. Moving on to the midsole of the shoe, they use the Anima N2, which is a supercritical EVA foam. It doesn't take a chemistry degree to think about the fact that the N2 is likely a nitrogen-infused foam. I know there's certain brands that get a little bit proprietary when they mention the word nitrogen or something similar to that. That is what they're using in this shoe. And it's the same foam. I believe it's actually even the same makeup of this foam as what was found in the Frequenza and the Frequenza 2. Although I have to say that it feels so much different in this shoe. In the Frequenza and the Frequenza 2, that's it's a very bouncy experience. It's a tempo shoe. It's light, it moves. If you're going to do some hill repeats, great shoe for that. If you're going to be just cruising out some tempo miles, another shoe that I don't hesitate to take out any time for that. This one, on the other hand, I think it just might be the heel stack of it. It's just a bit thicker. It doesn't give me as much of that bounce, that snappy responsiveness that I would like to see from it. It does firm up a little bit just underfoot at decent pace when you're kind of running marathon pace and stuff like that. You feel the soft nature of the foam, but it doesn't give you that response, that rebound as I would like to see it. So it does end up being a little bit firmer than what would be advertised. And that's one of the things I think is something we're going to talk about a little bit more. The rubber on the bottom here, it's their Duratec 5000. This is what they're using in most of their shoes these days. It's fairly durable, decent grip. It's held up. I had some. It's been a little bit damp and moist here in the area on some wood bridges and stuff like that. I haven't had any issues with loss of grip, loss of traction. I feel that this shoe is the same way with that. Where I think that this shoe can be is really good, honestly, is it's a cruiser. You put this on, it feels premium. You feel like you're putting on a nice, expensive shoe. You're going to show up to your run club. People are going to ask you, what is this shoe? Because, that's just the experience of owning Diadora shoes for the most part. Most people aren't using them. It's not the shoe that they're advertising it as, and I think that that's the issue. On their website, in their literature, they keep talking about it and referring to it as a quote-unquote super trainer. To me, I think that is a misnomer. Is the shoe bad? No, it's not bad at all. But when I think of a super trainer, I'm thinking of a shoe with that full premium foam. We're talking, if you look at ASICS, the Super Blast, putting their top end racing foam in there with a carrier foam that's a little bit more durable. That's a super trainer. This one is just using kind of their mid-tier foam. So they have Atomo N2, and then Atomo PBX. So this is that mid-tier foam. It's a good foam. I'm not going to say it isn't. But I think in the application of this shoe, it's just lacking the responsiveness that I would like to see in what would be a super trainer, something that can bridge that gap between your daily trainer and maybe your race day shoe. This wouldn't be the race day shoe that I would choose. Long runs, absolutely. Double-digit runs, I don't think it would be much of an issue. But for those days when you really want to put out that extra little bit and get that extra few percent of performance, this wouldn't be the shoe I would use for it. And I think that that's where it's letting me down. Because if I'm paying $240, I'm expecting a little bit more. Yes, making a shoe, designing a shoe in Italy, and all of the work being done in Italy, paying the craftsmen the living wages and everything, which is something I'm never going to complain about. I'm all for that. I think more brands need to be doing in-house manufacturing like this. That's something that, definitely is a cost driver here. Another thing is they don't have economy of scale. They're not making hundreds of thousands of these shoes. It's not Nike. It's not Brooks. It's not any of these brands that are making all of these shoes. These guys, they're making, with regard to the Gara Carbon, the race day shoe, for this year, they're making 3,000 pairs. So you're going to be paying a bit of a premium just based on what they're doing. The other thing that kind of gets me about this shoe is just, again, it is a little bit snug. Again, not uncomfortable, and I think that that's something that's going to loosen up a little bit with just some time. So I'll report back on how that does kind of moving forward. What do I see this shoe being? I see this shoe as being a long run shoe, kind of a daily trainer to long run shoe. If I'm getting up into that 18, 20 mile stuff, those really, really long marathon day training, I don't think that this is what I'm going to wear for that. I think there's better shoes, both from Diadora and then from other brands, that I think would hold up better to that. But low double digits, wouldn't have any problem putting this on. It looks great. It feels good. It has a very nice ride to it. Although being a little bit stiff and firm, I like a little bit more of a firm ride. If I were to suggest any improvements to it, maybe they can look into a dual foam setup similar to what ASICS is doing with their with the Super Blast. Putting maybe a layer of the Atomo PBX in here. That's going to give it a little bit more bounce, a little bit more softness under every footfall, and then having the Atomo N2 as like a carrier. I think that would be a really stellar combination. That if they were to do something like that, I would have no qualms of recommending this shoe at this price for most runners. But where it sits right now with this build, with this setup, with this foam, with this combination, I really would not recommend it to anyone but the most diehard Diadora fans. Somebody who wants kind of a unique shoe. I think that that's where this one's really going to be right now. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, awesome. Give it a like. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I have more information and more content coming. I'm going to put out some more podcast stuff soon, so keep an eye out. And thank you for tuning into Midwest Running. Real quick, I'm filming this on March 27th, which my hat here should give a little hint here. It's opening day for baseball. Hopefully you're a baseball fan. If you are, happy opening day. I want to say go White Sox. I know we're terrible, but who knows? I did see that we ended up winning our home opener 8-1 though, so maybe something's in store for us. Again, I doubt it, but it's sign spring's here, summer's coming, you know, all those great, you know, memories of growing up in the, you know, playing Little League and all that stuff, that's all coming back to me. And I always look forward to this day every year. So, yeah,